Doll.
It's time to get educated on your Second Amendment rights. Welcome to 2 full hours of Gun Owners Radio. Your hosts Dave Stahl, Joe Dramisi, and Michael Schwartz will teach you about firearms, self-defense, and the laws that affect your rights to keep and bear arms. Visit gunownersradio.com with questions to learn how to become a sponsor of Gun Owners Radio and get involved. Together, we will win. Now here's your hosts, Dave Stahl, Joe Dramisi, and Michael Schwartz on The Answer San Diego.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome to Gun Owners Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks. Does selling your home stress seem overwhelming? Well, it doesn't have to be that way with Scott Vinson from Caldwell Banker Royal Realty. Scott Vinson is the perfect guide to help you sell or buy your home. Scott has also been a San Diego County gun owner board member from the start. So if you're moving, let fellow Second Amendment supporter and real estate broker Scott help you sell your home and find your new home anywhere in the United States. Call him today, 619-948-2459. Tell him you heard it right here on Gun Owners Radio. That's 619-948-2459. Or go online to www.scottvinson.com. So, Michael.
How's it going, man?
Just rocking and rolling. So,
any big race news?
Yeah, Kyle Larson won the championship.
That's what I heard. I think the entire block heard you guys cheering.
But Brittany, I thought she was going to come out of her skin because she's been following, because he's a dirt guy and she's a dirt girl.
I don't even know what that means.
I
would never refer to her as a dirt girl.
Oh, she'll love you if you called her a dirt girl.
Were they chanting, let's go, Kyle?
No, they were chanting. Yeah, they were actually. Because it wasn't. Well, if Brandon would have won, then you know where that would have went. That's how it actually started.
She was crazy. Brittany was going crazy.
Totally. Well, she's a fan.
I liked seeing that passion.
I want to see you two. I'm going with you because I'm going to try the spaghetti. Because now I can't drive by a.
That's right.
I can't drive by a Denny's now because of you.
I know. Yeah, Brittany and I don't know what it is. I don't know if we have it might be a contest or it might be a dare. I'm not sure what it is. But she's going to make me try the moons over my hammy, and I'm making her try the spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what we're going to do. I'm not sure if one of us is going to win or lose, or if we both lose, or we're both going to be at Denny's. So.
Yeah, stranger things.
Hey, out of curiosity, what's Laura's opinion of the spaghetti at Denny's?
Yes.
Well, she doesn't like Denny's at all. I don't know. I think
That's exactly what we were thinking.
Yeah, she's just it's not a good fit.
It's not a good
day if we're ended up at Denny's. It's usually something went terribly wrong.
Yeah, she's had a really bad experience at Denny's. That's the only thing I can.
She likes my spaghetti. I actually make really good spaghetti, and I like really good spaghetti. That's why it's a story. Because,
that's right. 9 minutes in that water, man. That's tough to do.
Well, I mean the sauce. I make a good sauce. So listen, everybody. Jack Wilson. Joe, you remember Jack Wilson?
I certainly do.
Is he
Who's
calling
Jack
in?
Wilson? He's not calling in.
Jack Wilson, that's the famous, we named that shot at the plate rack there at Lemon Grove. That's the church headshot.
That's right.
So, yeah.
By the way, Brittany just texted me. It's an offer, not a dare.
I like it being a dare, boy.
I knew you would.
I don't know why. I don't know what that says about me.
I don't know.
I'm down. Brittany, if you're still listening, let's do it. Let's do this.
She listens all the way home. She'll be laughing all the way home.
Yeah.
She thinks this is a comedy show.
She's gonna eat that spaghetti and she's gonna cheer just as loud as she was cheering for this Kyle fella.
This Kyle fella.
But now that Jack Wilson, though, that's the guy that did exactly what he had to do when he had to do it. That's going to be a tremendous interview.
Did you see how calm, cool, and collected he was?
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
So here, I'm actually really excited about this, and I hope everybody joins us. On Thursday, we're going to interview Jack. We're going to do it live, and you're going to be able to ask him questions. We're basically going to do a live Magnum episode. Right, Rich? Is that a good way of explaining it? Yeah, I just got the thumbs up. So we're doing like a live Jack Wilson interview, and then you guys are going to be able to ask Jack questions.
Do we have any idea when and where?
Yeah, Thursday, sign on to youtube.com/gunownersradio, youtube.com/gunownersradio, or go to gunownersradio.com for more details. It is this Thursday, which is the 11th, Veterans Day. That's a coincidence. Has nothing to do with it.
That's pretty good.
At 6 o'clock?
At night?
6 o'clock. I got it right. I
Mhm.
got another thumbs up. 6 o'clock.
You're doing good.
So here's what I recommend you do. 5 o'clock, stop by the old Denny's, pick up some spaghetti, and go home. And, 6 o'clock, turn on Jack Wilson and enjoy your pasta and listen to me.
Okay, go to YouTube /
YouTube.com/GunOwnersRadio. What do you think about that, Jackson?
Sounds pretty exciting.
Yeah, right?
You'll be watching.
And we have Melissa in the studio, the lovely Melissa. How
Hello.
are you?
I'm good, thank you.
And you're doing it before Jackson's bedtime, so that was smart.
Yeah. Can you tune in on Thursday, Jackson?
Yep.
He's got to look at mom for. He's got to look at mom for.
Mom's in charge of the television.
That
I have
doesn't
a funny
change,
feeling.
by the way, Jackson. That throughout your whole life, you're gonna have to look at.
Yeah, no kidding. We still do to this day.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Brittany retext. She says, "Who eats the fastest?"
Oh, she's going down.
She's in serious.
She doesn't
trouble.
even know.
She's in so serious trouble.
She doesn't even know what she just.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So we're having Jack. Okay, that'll be.
So Melissa's here. Yeah, Jackson's here. Action Jackson and Chase. Chase is laying on the ground, lounging.
Of
That'd be
course.
I guess that'd be a Chase lounge.
Heck
Heck yeah.
Dad is in the house.
Yeah, here
And
we
Melissa
go.
is here to review a banana again.
No, a holiday gift guide for you guys.
Yeah,
A holiday gift guide. Oh, I like that. You're gonna tell everybody what to get me for a gift for the holidays.
Absolutely.
It's not in a container out in the ocean.
No.
Just double checking. Everything else is.
We're having, by the way, check out, if you go to San Diego County GunOwners.com or SDCGO.org, we're having a Not Me SD OC pepper spray and situational awareness class that's coming up. I think it's mainly for women. I don't think we're actually allowed to legally exclude men.
Unless you want to go there and be a target.
Yeah.
Or you could just identify
They
as
are
a woman
looking
for
for
the day.
volunteers.
That'll work.
There you go.
So if you want to go get OC sprayed,
No.
but if you're a dude and you're showing up, come on, get out of there.
Wear a
We'll
skirt.
find you another class.
Wear a skirt.
Yeah, let the ladies have their OC spray class and situational awareness. Easier said than done.
Yeah, really.
But check it out. If you know any women, especially who are interested, I'm actually a huge fan of pepper spray. I think
You put it on everything.
I put it. Yeah, I think that's part of the reason the spaghetti at Denny's is so delicious.
Well, and the added bonus is I'll be teaching it. So they'll
I
get
didn't
to
know
see
that.
me. Yes.
Here I'm sitting here promoting it. Talk about it.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's you
Lay it
said
out there.
So no, it's going to be a nice situational awareness, just ways to avoid having to use the pepper spray in the first place, and then if your situational awareness fails you, you'll have pepper spray. That's like Plan B.
Are you going to talk about all the different pepper sprays that are available? And
No, I'm going to stick mainly with the one. I mean, there's lots of different kinds out there. I guess the one that I use and the one that a lot of us use is the Prom pepper spray.
are you reaching out to
different
them
reasons.
for them to donate?
No, I think they actually have donated a bunch of trainers for us because it gets messy if you spray real pepper spray in a class. So we'll be spraying the inert trainers, but they did contribute a bunch of those.
But they should send you the real stuff to give to each one of your classes.
We could have to work on that for the next class that we populate there.
Have you ever been sprayed?
Yeah.
Anybody here ever been sprayed?
No.
No, I don't
Dad
plan on
has.
it.
Jackson's
Twice?
dad's been sprayed.
Yeah, there's
What did you do?
Jackson's-
No, I'm kidding.
Jackson's been sprayed.
Was it training? Yes. Okay, it wasn't real.
That's like going in a tent and doing.
No, it's still real.
well, that was sprayees. You're a sprayer, right?
I've
So,
sprayed. I've never. Yeah. I've
Oh, that's right.
sprayed.
You did. You sprayed
I
a
did.
couple
I
guys.
Sprayed down some
bunch of kids.
bunch of
didn't it?
kids.
Oh, that's it. Pick on the kids.
Yeah. Well,
It worked.
get
All
out
right.
of the pool. Get off my front lawn.
Yeah, get off my front lawn. So when we come back, are we going to talk some more about like the election recap? Because that's pretty important.
We're going to talk to
Or-
Brian Hill, the complete combatant. We're going to interview him, and he's going to talk about all kinds of cool stuff.
Which will be fun because I'll be taking a class with him in January.
We're going to touch on a little bit. There was a Supreme Court case. We were kind of indirectly mentioned in the arguments, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the election that happened. We had a huge victory.
We sure did.
With
And if
Laura
you want to
Lothian.
see Michael's interview on KUSI, Go to KUSI.com, Good Morning San Diego.
Or go to Facebook.com/SDCGO.
Do you have it up there already?
Or go to our website. We're all over the place.
All right.
There's all kinds of different ways to see my face on your computer.
Yes, it is.
So at Gun Owners Radio, we talk to a lot of trainers. When instructors talk about who they like to train with, Brian and Shelley Hill are consistently at the top of that list. So hang on to chat with Brian next.
But first, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone, and there's no guarantee that the justice system will be on your side. Make sure you are protected for the legal battle after your self-defense battle. While you protect your family and property, U.S. Law Shield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with a comprehensive self-defense coverage at an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. Listeners, you can get a free T-shirt when you use the code GUNOWNERSRADIO. Sign up today to go to uslawshield.com. All right. We have our guest on the line.
Yes, we do. We have a nationally renowned trainer, firearms trainer, Brian Hill from the Complete Combatant.
Hey, Brian. How's it doing?
What's going on, guys? Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
So tell us, let's start with the name. What does the Complete Combatant mean? Where did that come from?
It's quite a mouthful for a moniker, isn't it?
Well, alliteration.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with alliteration.
Heck of a business card.
And we actually put an ant as our symbol so that the literal minded is completely confounded by the complete combat ant. So,
Nice.
but I've been a lifelong trainer. I've been training in all sorts of martial arts my whole life. At 40 years employed as a coach of either teaching martial arts or teaching firearms or teaching edged weapons or teaching impact weapons. I had a brief stint in law enforcement. So basically the Complete Combatant was the idea that this is everything that the armed citizen needs to complete a well-rounded outlook on self-defense and personal protection, not just firearm skills, but understanding the legal battle, understanding proactive mindset, understanding the skills that are available from pepper spray to unarmed techniques to using a flashlight correctly. And our emphasis is truly on that. I do teach some carbine and precision rifle classes also, but mostly it's pistol classes, or it is our image-based decisional drills, which help people to make decisions faster and smoother.
So we want to talk more about that, but before, actually, I want to talk about what are some of the disciplines as far as your martial arts experience goes?
Well, I started in 1978, so I've gone through every decade of martial arts training.
Everything.
I started out in Kung Fu.
Kung Fu, Taekwondo, I'm guessing.
Yep. Yep. Then it was kickboxing.
Rex Kwando. Did you do some Rex? Break the wrist and walk away?
Man, I think my first instructor was actually the prototype of Rex Kwando. So.
Nice. Well, which is the reason I'm asking. I've always been fascinated by the fact that it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, the 90s was like a watershed moment for mixed martial arts or unarmed combat or however you want to refer to it. But it seems like in the 90s when they really came out with UFC and they started, but even before the UFC, and they started putting, people in a ring from different disciplines, grappling and striking and kicking, that it really separated, kind of truth from fact and, real martial arts from fiction. Am I overstating, or what are your thoughts on that?
You're not overstating at all. It was a moment where we realized that many of the things that we argued about were personality-based and that actual performance mattered, that strikers could win, grapplers could win, combination styles could win. It mattered more the man in the ring than the style he had learned.
Wow.
And,
what do you mean by that? Tell me about that. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, it's always the fighter. If we look at the names of these martial arts, it's like saying, hey, Brian Hill taught you to fight. But we put so much credit on the style that we thought that if you learned somebody else's style, you'd fight well. But it's really up to you always to adapt these techniques, to understand the martial skills behind them. But you're the one that's got to apply them in real time. And you have to be able to do that against a living, resisting opponent at all times. And that was a real change, is the ability to fight to such a high level. And to, it is consequential. We do get hurt a little bit, but we really got to explore between being able to tap out and being able to wear gloves, how much we could hit and kick and punch and throw and grapple with each other. And it separated what really worked. And we learned that there's, like the Pareto principle, 20% of the skills really matter. The other 80% are inconsequential. And there's something that are far outliers and extremes. And we see the same thing in the firearms training world right now.
Well, I think it's safe to say, correct me if I'm wrong, that martial artists were surprised in the 90s at how effective and important grappling was. I think it seems like in the 70s and 80s there was a huge emphasis on striking and kicking, and that grappling was almost it was almost kind of it wasn't really respected, and until some of the jiu-jitsu guys came in and really showed, hey, you know what? A lot of these fights are going to end up on the ground. You better know how to grapple, and if you know how to grapple, you better watch out. What are your thoughts on that?
100%. I wrestled in high school. I did judo. I did Japanese jiu-jitsu. I did Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And I did a lot of striking. And striking was the glamour art. We had a culture of wrestling in America that disappeared and became WWE. But we had catch wrestling, where we had very prominent wrestlers that would go around and challenge each other in the early part of the 19th century. And so we had a grappling culture, but striking became the preeminent art. And, many of us grew up watching boxing at a very high level. So culturally, we were really prone to encourage striking. But the problem with striking is you have to have a referee to manage distance, because two strikers simply can't stay away from the clinch. They end up in the clinch all the time. So when I was a martial arts instructor, we had heard of the Gracie Underground tapes. I had watched a couple of them. I was very intrigued by it. And my partner was exactly the opposite. He was horrified by it, and he went ultra traditional, never touched it again. And I jumped into mixed martial arts training and started coaching and, fighting. And it was a wonderful outlet. And then we started training fighters instead of people that learned a martial arts style.
When did you wrestle, and what state did you wrestle in?
Well, I wrestled in Georgia, so it's not like Iowa or something like that,
Still, Georgia, actually, that pretty solid wrestling state. You guys, some champions were pretty. I wrestled in high school too. I wrestled in middle school. I really, really liked it. I had a back injury pretty young, so I still did fairly well my senior year, but it ended everything. But I remember telling people, everybody, you like to make fun of, you had to wear a singlet, and that's embarrassing when you're in high school, and especially me. I was a heavyweight. Nobody wants to see the heavyweights in the singlets. But I remember telling my friends, guys, this is combat. This is actual real combat. Yeah, there's some rules. You can't, scratch eyeballs, and you can't punch the guy, but this is real combat. And that was not apparent until, the later 90s when like I said, when jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts turned into UFC and all that other good stuff. But I remember the judo guys. I actually wrestled. I went to high school in Hawaii, and when we saw a guy doing some like judo warm-ups, we were like, oh man, this is gonna be it's gonna be a long day. This guy's tough. I don't know. I thought it was fascinating how everything changed in the 90s, which is kind of, if you go back to like Bruce Lee, who, back, wasn't that like his big dream in the 70s and the 60s, was to get all these disciplines together and, have them hash it out and see who comes on top?
Michael, I'm hoping you're not going to say like Bloodsport was one of your foundational movies, and we're going to be talking about Jean-Claude Van Damme and all those guys.
What's wrong with Bloodsport?
You knew that was coming. You knew that was coming.
That's what we were building up to here.
So that's the direction we were going. Yeah, maybe, but all right, we don't have to go there.
Chung Lee.
Can you imagine movie night at Mike's house?
I'm going to go home. I'm going to get some glue and some broken glass.
And get some spaghetti first. Get some spaghetti at Denny's.
All right. Okay, what are we talking about here? I just went on a whole tangent on martial arts in the 80s and 90s.
What was up with that?
What show are we on? Okay, so tell us a little bit about the Complete Combatant. Tell us, how did you you are a nationally known instructor. How did that happen? How do you go from, teaching firearms training and martial arts, that sort of thing, to being a nationally known guy.
Yeah, put us back on track.
Yeah. I feel like you dragged all of my skeletons out of my closet.
Yeah, I think he did.
All right. So how do you get to be a nationally known instructor? A lot of it's luck. The other part is preparation, opportunity. I was teaching martial artists, which meant I got a lot of guys that shot too. Shooting and martial arts just goes together. A lot of the guys just love to do both. And I was talking about things that they hadn't heard of, coaching concepts that they'd never heard of, and we started applying it to that. Then I pursued a apprenticeship with a local trainer here who had quite extensive pedigree with the Marine Corps. And I spent about 6 years working with him. I didn't get paid for that. I just worked and learned the craft. After that, I took every course that was available. If you look at my list of credentials, I've taken everything from force science to, master level range master courses to competition. I've done everything I possibly could, and I continue to do that on a basis. And then I have done nothing but work to make this business run as fast as we can and to be available and to teach, because that's what I truly love. And then I'm very blessed that my wife is the indispensable organizational wizard. She is quite the promoter. She's smart. I listen to her. She says, you need to do this, you need to do that. And she's got the promotion side, so I've got the coaching side. And it's just accelerated. And it feels like, people are like, wow, how'd you get here? And it's like a long journey. It's a long path. And it took quite a bit of work. But we've been really fortunate and grateful. And I got sick last year and I closed my gym. I got COVID. The gym was done because of COVID. I recognized a bad business decision if I stayed open, and it shoved me fully into full-time training, which has been good. So I have some great friends that have helped me along the way. I had some great mentors, and that's how you get to where you want to go. But there's a lot of work involved in it. And, if you're self-employed, you can work any hours you want, as long as it's all of
Our
it.
freedom of speech is just as important as our freedom of self-defense. We are thrilled to support an American company like MyPillow. Go to MyPillow.com and use the code FREEMARKET3 and get up to 66% off America's best pillow. Get a great night's sleep and enjoy the satisfaction of supporting companies fighting against cancel culture. That's MyPillow.com and use the promo code FREEMARKET3 for up to, get this, 66% off. All right, let's go back to Brian Hill and Kung Fu City.
Kung Fu City. So, seriously, Brian, did you ever compete in the Kumite, or is that not?
Something close. I went to the World Cup in Denmark where it was free-for-all, and I've never seen so many grievous injuries in my life.
Ooh.
Emergency tracheotomies and spiral fractures of tibias. And
What?
It was god-awful. Yeah,
At the
it was
World Cup?
god-awful.
Why? What was going on there?
They wanted to win.
It was no rules, we had some rules, but it was bare hands and bare feet and throws and grappling and striking was all on the table. So
wait. So what was? Isn't the soccer championship the World Cup? Are we not talking about that? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the World Cup of Jiu-Jitsu, which no longer exists.
All right. We
Did that-
better
did
move.
that kinda
we
die
better
out,
move
Brian?
right along here.
What?
Yeah.
I was
I
just
know.
getting into the.
You're into it. I know.
I was just going to ask if you could do the splits like Van Damme, or
No.
I'll just skip that.
Break up some 2x4s on his head.
You can do it.
So, Brian, one of the
That I can
things I really do find extremely interesting about what you're teaching is the red dot curriculum that you teach, which I think is fascinating. And I feel like I'm kind of a dinosaur. I just ordered my first red dot. I have red dots on my AR and on I think I just put one on a shotgun. But I was kind of one of these dinosaurs that was resisting red dots on a pistol.
I have one on my salt gun.
On your salt gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can.
Now you've got a laser on your assault gun.
No, it's got a red dot.
You got a red dot?
Yeah.
Mine only has a laser.
Sorry.
You can hit a fly from
Can't get it in air yet, though.
from across the,
I've tried.
the kitchen.
Took out a light bulb.
But talk about why, what's the difference in training with a red dot as opposed to just, good old fashioned iron sights on a pistol?
So, we went through the rifle phase where all of us learned to shoot red dots, and we decided it was better. But the pistol's slightly different because the draw stroke changes things, and people have a hard time finding the dot. So the aggravation factor is a little higher with it. But I think now, basically, the red dot is the present. I used to say welcome to the future, but my classes, even when I teach open enrollment classes, tend to be 40, 50% red dots.
Wow.
Because it does several things really well. Number one, it lets you be target focused, which we're inclined to do naturally. That's how human vision works. We've been that way for thousands of years. We tend to look at the thing trying to kill us. And the red dot takes advantage of that system. It allows you to focus on the target and instead of a front sight. Some people simply can't accommodate very well to a front sight. They get double pairing of their vision, so there's problems there. The red dot works on a visual field where your glasses don't matter as much. A lot of us had to get our prescription glasses balanced to be able to see a front sight because it's an odd range. So you can shoot with
Joe's
different
shaking
glasses.
his head, yes.
Yeah, I remember that. I struggled with that one.
Yep. And it's simpler. While it's not really a one focal plane, it is two focal planes. You have the dot, you have the target. Aaron Cowan said it the best. You look at the target as a front sight, you look at the dot as a rear sight, and everything's set up. It's easier to call your shots, too. So instantly diagnostic problems are easy to solve with the red dot. You're going to see more movement. It is more like a laser pointer, which we're used to, and people tend to really adapt to it very quickly. The problem is, though, if you've been shooting a long time, you spend a lot of time learning the iron sights, and it's going to take you 3 to 6 months to reroute your brain to a higher processing level to watch for the motion of the dot, be able to open up your field of vision and go away from accommodation.
Brian, I'm so glad to hear you say that because I just switched over. I just put a red dot on my Glock 34 about a month or two ago, and it's coming along, but I'm still struggling a bit with it, which is why I'll be in your class in January. But
Good.
But yeah, that 3 to 6 months, I'd like to hear that.
What are you struggling with? What's the struggle?
It well, I thought my draw stroke, I was real happy with that, and like Brian was saying, I'm starting to see, okay, I'm coming up out of a holster, and I'm not coming up where I need to be to have the dot on target. And I thought my mechanics were really good because with the iron sights, I don't have it didn't seem like I had a problem with that. With the red dot, I was noticing last time at the range that I had to adjust slightly when I came up, which slows you down a little bit. So
What draw stroke is that a Brian? Is that one of your terms? Is that a Brian Hill specific term? Draw stroke.
That's a draw out of the holster.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Really?
I heard it twice on the show today. This is the first time I've ever heard that term.
But well, no, like I said, if your mechanics are good like that, because when you get into the competition,
Is it just your draw though? Is that no? I think seriously, is it just
No, it's drawing and coming out at the same place every time.
Okay.
So that's what it is, and apparently, well, I guess the same place with the iron sights might be slightly. It shouldn't be though, Brian. It shouldn't be different.
It is because you're with the iron sights, we can do a gross visual alignment on the way out. So really your draw stroke's not as good as you think it is. You're correcting it visually. What we found is we have to develop the kinesthetic awareness of people being able to draw well to the same point, and then they expect to see the dot, and then simply there's only 3 decisions that can happen. Either they shoot what they see, they make a correction, or they assess and they decide to do something else. So the ability to put the dot in front of your eye is really important. But it's slightly different than iron sights because the iron sight waves out in front of you and you can kind of use it like a rudder. So you are correcting the whole time. And then the other side is the red dot is incredibly precise compared to an iron sight. So you see a lot of movement. The iron sights move too. It's just that we've convinced ourselves there's not a lot of movement there. So we tend to overcorrect the dot when it's a more precise aiming instrument. And then the final thing is you become dot focused. So you're looking at the dot, not the target.
So, that was another crushing discovery for me, too. My my really solid grip and solid sighting and everything that I thought was really solid, as I'm watching the red dot dance around on the target, I'm thinking, wow, I didn't know I shake that much. No, another
And
day.
we all do, all of us. Well, it's frequency. We get muscle impulse by frequency, not amplitude. But our vision lies to us because we expect the front sight to be rock solid and still. But it's a sight movie. It's not a sight picture. It's always in action.
That's a good way of putting it. I like that. Is there a red dot you do or don't like in particular, or are you pretty wide open?
No, there's a real hierarchy. Trichicon is the top of the pick right now. Especially the RMR for duty carry. are for arm carry because it can take a lot of impact. It works really well. It's got 50,000 hours of battery life. But I got to tell you, Holosun is really coming up strong.
Isn't it amazing how good they're making their? I mean, they're so affordable. As, my first thought a couple years ago was this has to be junk, because it's not expensive enough. I want them to take more of my money. But man, they've come I was about to say they've come a long way. They didn't have to come a long way. They came on really strong. They're really affordable, and they seem to truly be high quality. I think I'm finally ready to accept them as a quality product.
That's what I have.
They're good, right?
Yeah, that's what I have.
Mm-hmm.
Although I'm like kind of struggling between should I get red or should I get green? I have red right now, but I'm almost tempted to buy green because maybe I can see green better. I'm not sure.
Well, it's almost Christmas.
Let me help you.
Both.
Hey, let me help you with that. We see more shades of green than we do red. What's the background of your environment? If you see green, if there's a lot of green in your background, green's a better choice because we see the difference between it. If you have an astigmatism, the green wavelength is different than the red wavelength, and you may see it more clearly.
Oh,
so it gives you an option.
Actually, I just discovered I have astigmatism.
Yeah. Yeah. And then,
so I just
go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say I just ordered the new Leupold, the Delta, whatever.
Yeah.
That new ugly thing that sticks off the back of the Glock. I just ordered that.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be? Are you gonna make fun of me, or is that or what do you think of that thing yet?
Well, I mean, with holsters, we all have a box of shame, and I think with red dots, there's one too.
Uh-oh.
It just depends how they hold up. Leupold hasn't done a great job of holding up well, because you're talking about a significant amount of G's on the slide. So I would suggest something. Make sure you only use Duracell batteries in your optics. They're made to take the G's. Energizers crush down. Leupold's a little harder to adjust, but mileage may vary. It depends on how much you shoot. I've got a SIG optic that nobody else could keep running. It's got 25,000 rounds on it now. So it's, we're getting to the point where these things are very robust, and the top two, which is Trijicon and Holosun, is just killing it right now, and we never see optics go down. But I think you'll be okay with your Leupold. But, if you see it,
no, you won't.
know.
I know that was a very polite.
Yeah, very polite. You just bought a Pinto.
Now there is one optic you should not buy.
What's that?
The Romeo Zero.
Really? Everybody's. I know. There's a small group of people I know that are all excited about it. What don't you like about it?
Well, it's made out of plastic. It's got a plastic lens. If you look at it real hard, it'll scratch. It fails routinely in my classes. It loses zero. It has no adjustments. The adjustments are backwards. It's made by an English company now who doesn't shoot. They don't carry optics. They have no idea what they're dealing with. And I don't know what it is. I'm an HK sponsored trainer now, but I was a SIG shooter before this. They either hit home runs or they just throw out absolute junk. And the Zero has just not held up. And I feel bad every time somebody comes to class with one because it doesn't make it through class. It's not my personal opinion. I've seen, 40 or 50 of these just go down and come off. But the good news is Holosun makes the 507K, which fits the same footprint. So you can just spend a couple $100 and get a really good optic, and you'll be happy forever.
So you're coming out in January. I know a lot of people are looking forward to taking your class. Can you touch on and tell us what is deliberate coaching?
So, I was rather surprised since we talked about martial arts. Firearms is rather like martial arts was before the UFC. We're just on the edge of performance coaching for firearms training. A lot of it has been personality over principle, where people are not using modern methodology. They're not measuring what they're doing. They're not refining. They're not using an analysis. They're not setting up a goal system. They're not exploiting flow states or accuracy and precision training, speed and efficiency training. They argue a lot of minutia that doesn't really matter. So the idea behind deliberate coaching is to actually bring a modern coaching methodology that we use with professional fighters to shooting. And if you get a good coach, the correction should be instantaneous at that moment on the line. It shouldn't be this Malcolm Gladwell's nonsense about 10,000 hours you're going to have to practice before you get good. He interpreted that research wrong. It's incorrect. And it's not, nobody did get good because of 10,000 hours. In fact, a lot of them quit. You should be able to improve yourself almost immediately. So we have a 3-second improvement. We have a 3-minute improvement. We have a 3-day improvement. We have 3 weeks and then 3 months for longer term goals. But you should see performance because I got to tell you guys, shooting firearms is not that hard. We are really geared for it, and the technical finesse that's put on correction for problems is probably not the problem. It is a psychological, physiological response where people make poor decisions under pressure, and they press the trigger anyway, or they don't grip the gun well, or they don't see the sights, they don't stay in the process. So it's something I'm very passionate about. I'm probably the only guy with 100,000 hours of coaching experience teaching firearms in America right now.
Wow.
That's awesome. What's your website?
It's easy, thecompletecombatant.com.
Perfect. All right. Well, hey, it's been fantastic. Next time you drive by a Denny's, make sure you pull in and grab the spaghetti and let Michael know how that went.
That's good.
Because we're looking for
Thank you, guys.
we're looking for consistency across the globe.
Well,
Take care, buddy.
you know, Christmas is coming up, guys. Holidays are coming up. So I thought I would do a quick holiday gift guide for you guys. So let me move this mic here. Okay. So, Shanti, are we going to? Okay. So I have a lot of things to go through. So this one right here is called the Velox 2 Quick Action Tactical Backpack. Retails for $62.95. Let me hold it up for Shanti. There you go. Out here, I have attached a large Molly medic pouch on the outside. And it does open up fully. Lots of room and bungees for all your tourniquets and everything like that. This backpack has so much room, so much organization, tons of pockets. I can't even tell you how many pockets there are. And the main compartment opens fully. Space for your laptop. And get this. It's got a space for plates. So if you want to put plates in the back or extra storage or a camel bag, you can put, your plates in there. And look how nice that says. Benny Vidici. I like it. Really strong backpack shoulder straps and lots of mollies on the sides. So this backpack retails for $62.95. This is great for anybody. So if you want to fit everything and even use it for travel, Joe, you can use it for travel. The large Molly pouch, medic pouch is $14.95. These ones, compact, where is it? This one. This is the compact pocket organizer. Pens, pencils, anything. And comes ready to fit on mollies. So, Jackson, if Chase has some mollies on his vest, we can probably attach something like this to him, right? Yep. Okay, so that compact pocket organizer is $13.95 on sale right now for $11.95. And the Sidekick Molly utility pouch, which is this one, same. Can attach it with mollies to anything. Opens. You can use this for pretty much anything. It's got bungees here to hold everything closed and a little Velcro pocket inside. So that one right there is Sidekick Molly utility pouch for $12.95. Everything has a lifetime warranty as well. So if something goes wrong with it, tell them and they'll replace it for you. Right now I have a code for you guys. If you want to save 15%, use code MEL15 at 3vgear.com. And that's it for 3V Gear. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff for you. So that's one Christmas idea. Second, this one's for the ladies. Kelly, you might want these in yourself. Yeah. So this right here is the can. I've done this review before, but I can't say enough about this one. This is the Can Concealment Sport Belt Hero. So this actually goes around your waist, has two places for a gun for holstering, and obviously I have to use the banana because, Melissa gets shut down if she uses real guns. Jackson, I'm sorry.
Jackson, what caliber is that banana? Can you tell?
What caliber is this banana?
Push the mic over. There you go.
9.
9?
9?
I think you're right.
I agree. Okay, so there's some stickiness here on the back, so it's not going to slip on your skin. There's a magnet here for the gun to stick into really close to the holster. Look at this. A pocket for keys and everything. You can hook your keys on. I have my knife in here. And I have another mag. I actually stick my wallet in this zippered pocket right here. And anything I don't really want to get lost. I would use that for a mag. It's pretty skinny. And any pocket that has this little pull tab is for a gun. So we have 2 places to holster a gun. And then I have my grenade iPod carrier. So look at how many pockets. 2 places to hold guns. Zippered pouch. It's all Velcro, and with this grip here in the inside, it's not going anywhere. So that...
How does your banana fit in there again? Is that a does it cover the trigger guard and all that?
It actually does.
And is it a pretty universal pouch, or is it specific to
subcompact.
Okay.
Subcompact bananas, Joe. Okay.
Like plantains.
Right, no plantains. So you can get this at cancanconcealment.com. Use code GOR15 for 15% off, and this belt runs $70. Okay, so on this belt, I have my next one. It's called the Neomag. The Neomag.com has made this amazing, which I think everybody should have. If you carry concealed, you need this. This is a really, really strong magnet that you put on your pocket that your...
Not my Glock magazine, but...
No. They actually do make them for Glocks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a metal
plastic
liner.
magnet.
There's a metal liner in the
Okay.
Glock mag. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So you can order, like, this is like their standard size. They do have ones for Glock.
Oh, great. That's cool.
It's a little bit longer, too, and it has 2 magnets for the Glock. But your mag's not going anywhere and falling out of your pocket, because last time I did not have this was when I jumped out of a truck and my mag fell out of my pocket and fell in mud. So I wasn't happy about that. So this is not going anywhere. So anybody who conceal carries and does the extra mag, you guys need one of these. Easy peasy, sticks in your pocket, and that magazine is not going anywhere.
So that clips to your pocket then, and the magazine sits inside your pocket and just pulls out. Cool.
Yep. So you would actually just, for fast deployment.
I want to see Jackson do it.
There you go.
Give her a try, Jackson.
There you go. How easy is that, Jackson? Very easy, yes. So, 2 different sizes. There's standard and there's some for Glocks. You can get these at theneomag.com, and they retail between $39.99 and $49.99 depending on what size you get. And we do have a discount code for you. Use Gun Owners Radio 10 to save 10%. How much time do I have?
Here's the clock. 3 minutes.
3 minutes? I feel like I'm like
It's
talking
2.5
like
minutes.
super fast. So these are my favorite, absolute favorite in-ear electronic ear pro. And this is what I use at the range. These are Grizzly ears. Grizzly ears are electronic earbuds. And it comes with this case. Lots of different sizes of like ear foamy pieces.
Look at the look on his face. He just got all excited.
Oh,
Are
you need some of these.
Yeah.
You need some of these. So in ear, really easy to use. 1 tap will connect you to your phone. You can talk on the phone. Sounds great. 2 taps, and you'll do shot compression, Jackson, and you can hear people just fine. It's like having Batman hearing. I love it. It comes with a little tiny case. It's the charging case, and you place them in the charging case, and you will get 3 charges out of this case before having to charge it up. And I like it that I can actually listen to my music on my phone at the same time having shot compression and hearing everybody's voices. So this is Grizzly ears. And what's nice, how many times does your ears hurt from having the over-the-ear, ear pro? My ears get sore after a while. How about you, Joe?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I ended up buying a pair of those after your last interview, and they work great because I'm pretty fashion conscious when I'm shooting, so I wear different kinds of hats, and the earmuffs don't always work. But the one thing, I forgot to charge those the other day, and I remembered about an hour before I was leaving the house, and they were completely dead. And I thought, well, let me see what I can get charge-wise in an hour. And then I charged them on the way up to the range in the truck, and they lasted the whole 4-hour RSO shift. They were fine.
That's great.
So they charge fast.
That's
apparently.
great. Yeah, they do actually charge pretty fast. So if you guys want some of these, they retail for $249. Use code MEL20 at grizzly-ears.com to save. So that is my holiday gift guide. You guys got to get on this.
All right, folks, PRMI Mortgage, primeres.com/alpine. Are you in the military? Are you looking for help for a VA loan? And if you're looking to buy or refi, or if you're just considering a reverse mortgage, call our local mortgage guy that you can trust. Call Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Call Chris Wiley at 619-722-1303 or just go to primeres.com/alpine. All right, Joe, it's all yours.
All right. So, yeah, the nanny state, CCWs, and responsibility. And I actually wrote the last two articles. The one that we talked about last week was the Alec Baldwin thing, and they had the same theme. It was about responsibility there, because when that happened, when all the news started coming out, it was, the big emphasis was we need more rules, we need to ban guns from movies, need to do this, need to do that. There was nothing about somebody needs to be responsible for what they're doing. And, the first one I wrote was this, then I wrote the Baldwin one, then we talked about Baldwin last week, but we'll talk about this one this week now. And it's the same kind of thing. And a couple of weeks ago, we had Chris Chang and Ursula Williams here in studio. And that week, I was talking about the other article, the one from the week before, that I'd written. And we were talking about constitutional carry. And I'd mentioned that, I was in favor of constitutional carry. I just had a slight reservation. And then Michael said, well, what's the slight reservation, Joe? You got to tell us about that. So I brought it up. My slight reservation was, with constitutional carry, there's no licensing or permitting or anything required. And I said, you just kind of missed the opportunity to have people take some training, not so much the firearms part, but training in the rules, the laws, what you can do, what you can't do, because the laws are generally so just screwy and not logical, especially here in California. But a lot of those, kinds of firearms related laws are that way. And they're not things that you would figure out necessarily with common sense. You'd think it'd be one way, and it turns out to be another way. And I was just saying, the only thing with constitutional carry is there's no opportunity to make people at least learn that once anywhere, at least hear it once. And I said that was my reservation. And both Ursula and Chris spoke up, and we had a big discussion here about how it's not really, it's not the state's responsibility to make sure you know what you're supposed to know. It's your responsibility. If you choose to carry a firearm and get a concealed carry license, then it's on you to know how to do that safely and effectively and know what you need to know. And, I was thinking about that, and after I was listening to them, I thought, well, you know what? I believe exactly that. I don't really have a reservation. And that got me thinking about why I thought I objected to it, or not really objected to it, but why I thought I had a slight reservation. And I started thinking about, being out here in California since, 79, where you have this mentality out here that the government is supposed to do everything. The government is supposed to be responsible for your safety, for your this, for your that. And there's a tendency, I found in my thinking, I'm thinking, okay, it's not a responsibility. Somebody should be making people learn this or learn that. And I thought that's such a bad way to think, but I think that's what happens when you get that that kind of a government, or you get used to living in that environment. John Dillon has a term. I actually stole it from the Shawshank Redemption, but John Dillon says we've become institutionalized in California in terms of our, how we look at firearms and things, because we've had our rights trampled for so long, and we've been so abused by the states. Our Second Amendment rights have been so abused that gun owners out here just look at, oh yeah, okay, another thing, we lost that, okay, and we kind of go along with it. And I think it's the same thing with this responsibility, because like teaching these concealed carry classes, we go through the laws and the rules and all that kind of stuff, and again, a lot of it's not stuff that you would think of. It's not really logical, but But again, at least, to defend the California thing, at least, okay, they make you go to a class, so at least you hear it once. But realistically, like Ursula and Chris pointed out, it's not the state's responsibility. They really don't need to be doing that, and that's the people. If you're going to do it, it's on you to learn what you need to learn.
100% agree with that.
Yeah, and it's and like when we teach these classes, there's I don't know 20 people in the class, 18 people, something like that. And I'm looking at these people, and I put together and it's the same one. I put together this resource list, and it's the same one I hand out when I do the CCW seminars. And it's got a bunch of it's got gear on it. It's got holsters, sources for holsters, for gun belts, for all this stuff. And I've listed like a dozen books on there that I've whittled my list down to about a dozen. I didn't want to put all 30 or 40 on there. But and I urge people, you're going to do this, do it right. Learn, read, take classes, carry whenever, wherever you can carry, and get into it. Like I said, it's a lifestyle. And I know that easily half the people in that class probably won't do any of that, and I'll see them again in 2 years when it's time to recert, and that's kind of the training they're going to do. And, I feel bad about I wish there was more I could do about it, but as Ursula and Chris pointed out, it's on them. They're doing it. They're adults. They need to take the responsibility. If they choose not to do that, then, okay, the risk is what it is, and, it's their decision.
Yeah, if government wants to, sponsor gun safety classes and, open it up to the public, maybe charge a small fee, great. For the public interest, for the public good, you want to do that, great. But putting a requirement in between you and exercising a right, there's probably an argument, to be made about, well, gee, is it an unattainable right, or an unobtainable roadblock,
and it is for some people.
And that's what I was going to say. It probably is for some people. But if there was some kind of, requirement or just outreach or messaging, something like that, okay, fine. But the point is that, hey, you can't put these roadblocks in front of people. At least government can't put these roadblocks in front of people when it comes to a natural right, like your right to keep and bear arms in order to defend your life.
Well, and that's.
But with those rights comes a ton of responsibility.
Yeah.
So if you're out there, listen, if you're in your lazy boy right now and you haven't taken a class in 2 or 3 years, or you're getting your CCW and the only class you take is Joe's class every 2 years, you're just as wrong as government forcing people to take classes. In fact, you're probably worse. So get out there and treat the right with the responsibility it requires. I go to at least 3 days, 3 full 8-hour days every year, at least 3, every single year. So I put my money where my mouth is. Everyone else can. I think it's important.
Yeah, and it's interesting, again, the point of that article and the Baldwin article as well is like how easily your mind shifts. Because I'm pretty independent, and I don't really go along with that kind of stuff normally. And I'd be, if you asked me, I'd be the last one to think that, it's not my responsibility, it's the government's responsibility. And yet I got sucked right into that, and I didn't even realize I was thinking that way. And, until Chris and Ursula pointed it out. And that's a really dangerous part of the government thing. It'll be interesting if we get a good ruling on the Supreme Court case that they're hearing now. It'll be interesting to see the reactions of places like California and New York. Are they just going to throw, if the court rules that, okay, that's concealed carry is protected by the Second Amendment, are they going to throw up roadblocks with extra fees and extra training requirements and things like that? Be interesting to see how that goes.
It will. Here's what I've learned about court cases. It's never as good as you hope it's going to be.
Oh, no, that would be a best case. But.
Yeah, the Heller versus D.C. was supposed to solve all our problems, and here we are.
All right, folks. Hey, well, don't go anywhere. Jamie Franks is on next. He's going to talk about the Alec Baldwin incident. Hey, we are proud to partner with the National Concealed Carry Association as a 10-ring partner. NCCA exists to serve the Second Amendment community by providing a nationwide network of 2A advocates. They offer elite self-defense and concealed carry training from the nation's top instructors and provide rock-bottom prices on the best selection of gear and accessories. Join them today. Members get great prices and free shipping. Learn more about that at NationalConcealedCarryAssociation.com. Mike, do your intro. I kind of walked over you.
Well, the intro is we're going to talk to Jamie Franks. We did a couple of segments last week. Was it last week, Joe?
It was last week.
On Alec Baldwin. We talked about Alec Baldwin. And, boy, what a hot topic. Like, people are all over the place on that. And Jamie had a couple of things to say on his Facebook page. So we wanted to bring him on and just chat a little bit more about it because I think it's important. I think it's there's a lot of reasons it's important. None of them have to do with the fact that it's Alec Baldwin who's involved. But for 100 other reasons, I think it's an important thing to talk about, and I think that Jamie's message is really important to get out there. Jamie, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Good. Awesome. Thanks for being on the show again. Jamie Franks, instructor, top shot shooter, and friend of the show, and all-around great guy. Appreciate you being here. So what is your view?
Yep,
of course,
thanks for having me.
You bet. The Alec Baldwin incident, he was on the set. From best we can tell, he was handed a firearm that was being used as a prop, and it was somehow loaded with not just ammunition, or not a blank, but live ammunition. And when he was, again, what's being reported is when he pointed it towards the camera and fired the trigger, or pulled the trigger, fired the gun, the bullet struck two people, went through a one of the behind the scenes ladies, and she didn't make it. She unfortunately passed away, and then severely injured the person behind her. So, what are your thoughts on that, Jamie?
So there's so many analogies that I could make. Number one, anybody that's ever been on a film set, so for a movie or a TV show that deals with firearms, typically you have an armorer, and then the armorer has an assistant. And every single time a gun is brought onto the set, everything stops. The armorer will verify that it's clear. The assistant armorer will go behind him and do a second check, which, typically in the industry we call that a buddy check. A second set of eyes to independently verify the condition of the weapon, and then we continue on from there. And so I can only imagine that several things had to have broken down in that chain, but just in that instance, in that moment, you have to remember Alec Baldwin is an actor. He has no obligation to have any firearms training. Do I think he should have firearms training? Of course. I think every American should have firearms training, but that's unfortunately not reality. Alec Baldwin makes obscene amounts of money to pretend to do stuff. I mean, he was in Pearl Harbor where he played James Doolittle, but I don't think any of us actually expect that he could really fly a B-25. So he's an actor. He pretends to do stuff. And then also on a film set, independent of everything that the armorer is supposed to do and be responsible for, you also have to think about it in terms of on a film set, they do take after take after take after take after take, where everything has to be reset and done again, and reset and done again, and reset and done again. So assuming this was several days into this film shoot, where, again, I would assume that they had filmed many scenes that involved many guns, and up to that point, they had been reset many times, and they had probably been handed many guns on a daily basis and told that this gun was cold, or this gun's loaded with blanks, or whatever it is. And 99 out of 100 times, or maybe 900 times out of 901, the gun was cold, or it did have blanks, or it was whatever. Somehow a live round found its way into the gun, and that's somebody else's fault. And Alec Baldwin was handed that gun probably for the 900th time and told it was cold, and he had no reason to think otherwise, and he picked it up and did what he was told because he had probably done that every other day.
Yeah,
now,
and Jamie, it's
on social media. Go ahead.
That's where I was going, and I think that people are skewering Alec Baldwin. Now, Alec Baldwin, the producer of the movie, he might be in some legal trouble. But Alec Baldwin, the actor, I don't think he didn't. It doesn't appear that he did anything wrong. And I think our world has done such a good job of ingraining the 4 universal rules into everyone's head that we might be probably being a little bit of tunnel vision here. Actors get paid to break those 4 rules, and they take special steps to ensure that they're going to be safe. Now, obviously, there were some steps that weren't taken here, like you said, but people took it an opportunity to go after somebody they don't like, but didn't really think
Absolutely.
this thing through.
So, as we're having this discussion, some actor somewhere is pointing a gun at somebody and pulling a trigger. But you're exactly right. And the operative words that you just used were, in our world, we're ingrained with those 4 universal safety rules. And this is where I part ways with everybody else on social media, because not everybody is in our world. I have people that show up to classes all the time that don't really have any real concept of the scope of responsibility that they have as a gun owner, that they are not familiar with the 4 universal weapon safety rules. And just about in every single class I teach, I have a student break the 4 universal weapon safety rules, and these are people that care enough to seek out that training. So to have the expectation that everybody is, especially an A-list actor that gets paid millions of dollars, like, he doesn't care because it's $1 million and it's been fine every other time before because it is somebody else's job. This is like a race car driver doesn't have to set the car up for the race because that's somebody else's job. They don't have to worry about that. Their job is to drive the car. Alec Baldwin's job is to act. But everybody on social media has this, like, in my opinion, this really egotistical stance that because I know this thing, everybody else on earth is expected to know this thing, and that's just not reality.
But you see, but Jamie, I would agree with you completely on everything you said there. The thing is, and this goes back to what we were just talking about in the segment before about responsibility, and then the last couple of weeks about this. It's like I would not expect Alec Baldwin to know anything about the 4 universal rules of safety or anything like that. Because he's an anti-gun person. He probably has no interest in that. But he is an actor, and they do have rules and they do have protocols when they are handling firearms, like you pointed out. And, there were articles from other actors, Ray Liotta and people like that have made lots of movies with lots of guns, and they said they specifically have protocols. And, someone hands them a gun, they check it clear in front of the person, they dry fire it. And, I think the bigger issue is I'm sure they had those protocols or those rules in place on that set. For whatever reason, they weren't paying attention to them or they were violated. And that I think, to me, that's more the thing. It's a responsibility thing, in that case.
So the 2 best kind of thought experiments that I've heard about this is on the set of the movie Kick-Ass, the actress Chloe Moretz, she was 13 years old when she played Hit Girl on the movie Kick-Ass. So in that movie, she pointed several guns at several people and at the camera and everywhere else. So if she had cooked off a live round that had hurt or killed somebody, would everybody be calling for her to be tried as an adult for murder, or would everybody say she's a 13-year-old girl, we can give her a pass? Because I don't think I think it's actually a fairly realistic comparison to think that Alec Baldwin probably doesn't know any more than your average 13-year-old girl about safely handling a weapon.
I've compared Alec Baldwin to a 13-year-old girl a lot. So
intellectually, at least.
All right. We're trying to have a discussion on being high class, but again, and taking the high road, and I say that. I'm sorry.
But talking about the rules, though, I mean, if you're making a movie, you routinely violate what we can, consider the safety rules,
right? Because
you're making a movie. That's why they have their protocols in place. That's why, okay, we're intentionally going to point guns at people and pull the trigger. So that's why they have their rules in place to know exactly the condition of that gun all the time. And it just seems like that was, for some reason, that was not done on that set. Or at least
right.
at that time. Anyway.
There's no way you could ever know the answer to this, but like a good way to gauge whether or not Alec Baldwin was, what level of negligence he had, was if somehow you could go back in time and say they were filming a scene where he was supposed to commit suicide, would he have double-checked that gun before he pointed it at himself? And
wow, that's actually...
No way.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess that stuff will all come out, I think, eventually. But I mean, like I said, if the rule was that you're an actor on the set, when someone hands you a gun, you verify it, you dry fire it. If that is the rule that they have and that wasn't being done, then that's going to be the thing that they'll focus on to say, well, why wasn't that done? Why did that happen?
Yeah, I've been on the set of like some people don't know. Everybody knows I was on Top Shot, but I was also an extra on the movie The Dark Knight. I played a National Guard soldier in The Dark Knight, and we used real weapons as our National Guard guns. We were carrying around real M16s and stuff. Obviously, no ammunition was present, whatever. But I'm not familiar enough to know if there's like a union standard or different rules for different locations or different rules for different productions or whatever. But on the set of like The Dark Knight, like I said, whenever we would arm up with our guns, like we were confined to a certain area, and then when we actually went on set, every firearm had to be independently verified as clear and safe and unloaded and no real ammunition present. But any person, any cameraman, any stuntman, any actor, any of the production crew, anybody at any time that felt unsafe could call a stop and have the weapons re-verified again. So I've seen it with my own eyes. Like, typically, this is something that is there is a very strict protocol in place, and it is very strictly followed. So that does bring up
real quick, Jamie. Last question, real quick. Yeah, we have like 10 seconds. Do you care if they ever use a real firearm on the set of a movie again?
No, and it's my understanding that the second and third John Wick movies were filmed mostly with airsoft guns because it's less dangerous and it's actually easier across the board if they use an airsoft gun to film the action sequence and then put in the muzzle flashes and the spent casings that's being ejected out of the shell or out of the firearm. They can do all that in post-production. So I bet we are going to see a heavy trend towards doing like John Wick did and filming most of those action sequences with airsoft guns.
Yeah. So we had a gun prom. We talked about it a little bit, and we're going to have the CEO of San Diego County Gun Owners, who successfully planned and executed the gun prom this year, to talk about the details.
But first, if you have legal matters that involve firearms then you need to call our attorney, John Dillon, especially if you have questions about red flag laws, gun registration, gun transportation, or maybe you need to know that your guns are California compliant. Call our trusted firearms attorney, John Dillon. John Dillon specializes in California gun laws. Call 760-642-7150 or visit his website at dillonlawgp.com. All right, Wendy, welcome to the show. Good seeing you again.
Good seeing you too.
So, Wendy, fantastic job on gun prom.
Well, thank you.
What's been the feedback that you've received so far?
It's all been very positive. We worked really hard to make sure on the front end that everything went really smoothly and created a really good user experience for the attendees. But I think the biggest feedback is amazement that we could get almost 1,000 people in the room specifically there to support the Second Amendment, which is really cool.
Wendy, $9.99.
I said almost 1,000.
Okay, I just double checked. I want to keep you out of jail.
Well, I don't think people understand what a enormous task that is. I don't even remember the numbers. So our first dinner back in like 2016 was just, I don't even think we had 300 people.
I think so, yeah.
And it's grown every year. And last year or 2 years ago when we had it, it was like in the 600 people range, something like that?
Yeah, 670, something like that.
So I don't think people truly understand how much work it takes to have 1,000 people, excuse me, Dave, 999 people have dinner with you. Plus, give away prizes, raffle off 30-something guns, have an auction, speakers. I don't think people truly understand what a Herculean task that was. And that was all Wendy. You did every bit of that. You deserve
You're too kind.
ounce of credit, and I can't tell you how elated people have been because it went so smoothly and it was so fun. I just had just somebody today. They went to a dinner, and I asked her how it went. She said it was super boring, and I said, well, because your expectations are all distorted because you've been to gun prom. So you did a fantastic job, Wendy, and I can't tell you, you just deserve a ton of credit for it.
Yep. Checks in the mail.
Well, thank you.
What was the toughest part?
We couldn't.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You couldn't what?
We couldn't have done it without our amazing sponsors and, all of the people who have supported us from the very beginning and were very, very patient with how difficult things were last year and confusing and up in the air. And so when we were finally able to hold our dinner, I think people were really excited.
Yeah, I think you're right. What was the toughest part of planning the whole dinner?
Michael Schwartz trying to butt in and, I'm just kidding. No, I think,
how dare.
Let's see.
Right here on my own show. Well, it's not entirely mine, but.
I think the hardest part was just trying to organize it all. 1,000 people is 999 people is really a lot of people. And the most frustrating part was that we had people who had bought tickets like 18 months prior because we announced this date in January of 2019 and then had to move it several times. So people were just really glad that we could finally celebrate the Second Amendment together and hang out and have a party, have prom.
Jackson, did you have fun at gun prom?
Very much.
What did you like about it?
It's just seeing all these different people and seeing all the different guns. I felt like it really excited me for seeing all those different guns that all of those people who've made the guns, I get to see those details that they've made.
That's awesome. Do you remember meeting Wendy on the phone here? Do you remember saying hello to her?
Yep.
Yeah, she did a good job planning it, huh?
Yep.
Awesome. Well spoken. Well said.
Thank you, Jackson.
So what does it mean? So the dinner, I mean, obviously we raised some funds, and one of the ways that San Diego County gun owners can continue to be successful is to have, be able to support the candidates that we support and have the staff that we have and the programs that we sponsor. But what else does it mean? What else does the dinner really mean?
It means that we're not alone. I think a lot of people forget that there is a very strong Second Amendment community in San Diego and all over California, particularly Southern California. And it means that people can see, hey, there are not only so many gun owners, but people who are loud and proud about supporting the Second Amendment. I mean, it's not every day that you can get a dinner together with this many people.
No, it should be. We should do that every day. That'd be awesome. When is the next one, by the way?
Big announcement. The next one is June 18th, 2022, and it will be at the Town and Country Hotel again.
Awesome. And was there anything in particular that surprised you about the dinner? Was there something that happened that you enjoyed or something that kind of sticks in your... I know you were super busy for like a week, but was there something that happened during the dinner when you were able to... Oh, gosh.
You're only giving her a week?
No, she was busy for a week that one day.
Jesus.
That one day
I
she
think
was busy
360 days she was busy.
But what was something when you were able to, poke your head up and take a breath? What was something that you that sticks out for the dinner? What's something you really liked?
There was a portion of the event where we talked about our Not Me SD program, and we showed this really great interview with one of our applicants. Her name was Kanisha, and her amazing story. She was a survivor of a shooting, and worked her way into finding the courage to go shooting again. She has a gun now. She's getting training. And telling that story was just so amazing. There was so much positive feedback about that story. And the support that just came through after we shared that story. You know, we did a portion where we raised funds specifically for Not Me SD, and it was just so overwhelming. And I'm very grateful for everyone's really incredible generosity to help take this program above and beyond.
Yeah, I thought that was cool too. I enjoyed everything. It was really cool. Saw a lot of faces.
And the food was amazing.
I keep hearing that. I didn't get any food that night. I didn't get invited to the tasting. I didn't get
You were invited.
Was I invited? I didn't go to the tasting.
You were. You did not go.
Okay, Wendy, next year, cater spaghetti from Denny's.
Yeah.
And he will be
something about that.
over the moon. Trust me.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Look how inexpensive it would be
really
compared to what you guys.
Well, that's the only thing about Denny's spaghetti. It's way overpriced. It's like 29 cents worth of pasta, and I think if you walk out of there, it's
every
like,
Italian restaurant is that way.
$15 or something like that.
Anyway, you didn't spend $15 at Denny's for spaghetti.
Well, it's not cheap.
It's got to be $6.
I bet you it's more than $6. When Brittany and I go,
we're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll find. I'll give you a full review. That'll be our gear review that week.
That'll work.
I'll have the moons over my hammy, and Brittany will have the
spaghetti.
Yeah, exactly. It was all the faces. I got to tell you, we'd all been cooped up in our houses from COVID, and there were a lot of folks that I hadn't seen in a long time. There were some people at that dinner that I hadn't seen in years. Some Second Amendment activists from way back, and we hadn't, I hadn't seen them since we were in a trench together like 10 years ago, at a city council meeting or whatever. And I think that's the best part. But above and beyond that, there were a lot of new faces, a lot of people that just, wow, this is the first time I've been to gun prom, and and things just went so smooth, Wendy, and you just did a fantastic job from beginning to end. Any changes that we're going to see in the at the June 18th dinner?
No, not that I know of. I hope not.
You haven't. You mean you're not already planning that? You didn't spend all day sitting around planning June 18th dinner?
There's been a lot of planning done already, actually, but
I know.
But no, we don't anticipate any major changes. And jumping back to the seeing old faces and new faces, the one thing that I forgot to mention that was really cool is that we had a lot of people who have moved away since we first announced our original date. And we had a lot of people come back. So they traveled in from out of state just to be here for this event, which was pretty cool.
That was cool. There were a lot of people. Megan and Zoo came in, and Morgan came in from out of town. Yeah, Morgan Ballas. That was all very, very cool.
You ought to have an award for who traveled the farthest.
Oh, that's
year.
A good idea. That's actually seriously a really good idea.
Yeah.
I like that. And Frank from U.S. Law Shield, he said he's going to try to get it written into his contract with U.S. Law Shield that he gets to come to gun prom every year. So
it's worth it. It's worth it.
It's totally worth it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was everything was really, really well done. The check-in went smoothly. I knew it would, though. I never had a doubt about that. Everything went really, really well. How many volunteers did it take to do gun prom?
4,812.
We probably had just over 30, maybe. And these people are always amazing. We have a lot of the volunteers that we have are ones that volunteer every year, which is pretty cool too.
Yeah, because you don't have to retrain anybody.
And they just love doing it. They love seeing all the same faces. They love helping out and contributing to making a successful event.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Wendy. Awesome.
Look forward
job.
to June.
Congratulations. I think you've turned this thing into an amazing showpiece. I mean, yes, it's a fundraiser, and that truly, truly helps the organization. But just the fact that you've turned it into an event where gun shops close early for the day just to attend, and people come from miles around to attend, you've done a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
We live in a state where your self-defense rights are under attack. So let us be your voice to help defend and restore the Second Amendment. Help spread the word about the fight. There's two easy things you can do. One, like and subscribe to the show on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Instagram, the podcast, or whatever way you like to listen to the show. Number 2, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps boost the show and puts it in front of a lot more people. All right, who's going to do Stump My
Before
Nephew?
we go,
Oh.
we had some questions. I've gotten more than one text on asking, what are we talking about when it comes to the Denny's spaghetti?
Oh, I guess
Part of me just wants to leave it vague, just kind of.
tell them to go try it. You'll see.
Yeah, well, okay. So last week we were, I don't even remember how because I went to, I don't know. We went to a Denny's, and the only thing I like at Denny's is their spaghetti.
And you made a big deal.
And they didn't have, they were out of spaghetti.
Oh, and they were out of it.
They were out of spaghetti. And I thought, how are you out of anything? You're Denny's.
Apparently, a lot of Denny's customers like spaghetti.
Well, I
At
tell you
least
what,
that
the
night.
complaint box was full thanks to Michael Schwartz.
So I'm a big fan of spaghetti, and believe it or not, Denny's spaghetti is some of the best spaghetti out there. So I've had better spaghetti at Denny's than I have at some really high-end Italian restaurants.
You know we're going to get them for a sponsor.
The other
But
side
the only
of that
thing
coin,
is, you can only
the
eat
other
the
side of that
spaghetti.
coin is there's nothing else on that menu worth eating. So
Oh, my. Not even the pancakes?
I wonder if just the spaghetti can sponsor the show, because if that,
You'd be golden.
yeah, it'd be golden. So that's what's with the spaghetti. No, the food at Gun Prom was way better than Denny's spaghetti. As good as Denny's spaghetti is.
I think you're lying.
This is only what I'm being told because
You didn't even eat it,
I didn't get any food.
I was going to say, you didn't even eat.
I went to, so I had a buddy from out of town, a high school buddy, came into town to go to Gun Prom. This guy, like I said, we went to high school together. We were neighbors in high school and got into all kinds of trouble.
So you went to In-N-Out Burger.
No, we went to Cotillas. We went and got Mexican food after. So figured that was a very San Diego thing to do. Mm-hmm. All right. So what are we doing? Okay. You ready, Jackson?
Yep.
Okay. We're going to do every week we do Stump My Nephew. My nephew, Sam. Sam, you there?
Yeah, how are you guys?
Fantastic. How many years have you been on the show now, Sam?
I think 2 now.
I think we just stumped him with that
As I was going to
question.
say, stumped, yeah.
So Sam's been on the show for a couple years. So you're 22. I thought you came on when you were like 19. So I think it's closer to 3 years.
Yeah, just over 3 years, I guess.
So 3 years. We found out that he knows a ton about guns. So what we do is we get people to write in, and they send us questions about guns. And if we use your question, we send you a hat or a shirt, whatever you like. If you stump my nephew, you get a front site membership, which basically gives you a lifetime of firearms training in the beautiful town of Prom, Nevada. So anyway, we have Jackson here. Jackson, how you doing, buddy?
Good.
Okay, good. Jackson, and your dog, what's your dog's name?
Chase.
He's a good boy. He's sitting there. He's hanging out. He's doing his thing. Jackson is going to read your question, Sam. So go for it, Jackson. Without further ado.
Oops.
Who's it from first? Maybe Melissa can point it out there.
Blair from Lamesa asks, what is a riot gun?
What is
a riot gun?
Yep.
I'm trying to figure out a way to work a Denny's spaghetti pun into this answer. I don't think I can. So a riot gun, simply put, is a type of shotgun. There aren't any specific rules for a riot gun has to be this, it has to have this, it has to do that. It's a type of shotgun used by law enforcement and especially prison guards in order to, as the name suggests, put down riots. So usually it'll have a short barrel as opposed to like your 28-inch hunting barrels. It'll have something like an 18-inch or a 14-inch barrel. It will usually have an extended magazine tube, so 7 or 8 rounds instead of like 4 to 6. And it will usually, but not always, it will often have some ghost ring sights for use with slugs or beanbag rounds or what have you, should the need arise.
I think that's right. Are you going to read the answer? These shotguns typically have shorter barrels and are used by police and military personnel to disperse large crowds of rioters. Before the invention of rubber bullets and beanbags, police would fire on the surface of paved roads to create a wider spray of pellets that would cause no fatalities. I didn't know that part. Did you know that part?
Yeah, that's actually what you're supposed to do with rubber bullets and rubber buckshot, so that they bounce up into the crowd instead of hitting people dead on. because when, rubber bullets do carry quite a bit of energy, and if you get hit with a rubber bullet close enough, then it can be fatal or at least cause serious permanent injury.
Awesome job, as always, despite not having a spaghetti pun. That's okay. Great job. I actually told Dave I got some boxing gloves.
Yeah.
I bought some boxing gloves.
And why, pray tell?
Well, for boxing.
I didn't know you were a boxer.
Well, I haven't done it in like 20-something years.
I thought you were a wrestler.
I did that too.
Well, that sounds like a hold my beer thing here, I think.
That's what
I know, right? Well, it gets even better. So the guy I'm gonna practice with, he's a SEAL.
Leo Hamill?
No, not Leo Hamill. Dude's a SEAL. So
that's getting worse.
I know. I'm getting.
You're going to get hit in the face by a SEAL.
He's going to ring my bell, man. So I sent a picture of my boxing gloves.
Thinking?
I don't know. But if I come in with a black eye,
oh my God, this is a hold my beer if there ever was one.
So I sent a picture of the boxing gloves to Sam, and he writes back. He said, "Does the San Diego Art Museum have steps?" I thought that was great.
Very good.
Hey, so stay on the line here, Sam. Jackson was listening to us talk about Alec Baldwin and everything that happened there, and you had an opinion on that. What are your thoughts on that?
I have opinions on many things.
No, Sam. No, not you. Hold on.
We're letting Jackson, the little guy do it.
Jackson, go ahead.
Okay. So, for my opinions, anybody who participates in an action movie that involves guns should practice the 4 universal safety gun rules, and they should practice what they are going to do on set before they do it, and also maybe ask who is filming the set to have the gun while you're dry firing, so you can dry fire it, and when you leave to go to it, make sure it's unloaded, check the barrel, no magazines in it, make sure it's clear, all that, just to make sure you don't end up like Alex Baldwin.
Eight-year-old. I think it's wise advice. I think that's actually really a really good point of view there.
Sure, I agree completely. Now, part of that is the responsibility of the set armorer to make sure that everyone has the proper training and knows how to follow the rules. And, of course, a lot of it is still incumbent on the individual actors and actresses themselves. Now, it's interesting because we think so. We put so much importance on educating children about how to be safe around firearms. If you see a gun, don't touch it, tell a responsible adult. But the thing is, it's not any more or less dangerous to handle a tool you don't know how to handle safely, whether you're a child or an adult. Adults who don't know how to handle firearms safely still shouldn't handle them. Just being older doesn't necessarily make you inherently safer. You still have to follow all the same rules. You still have to know how to be safe. And, if you're violating those rules, then bad things can happen. That's why we have the rules.
Yeah.
You can cut your leg off with a chainsaw if you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
Or I'd argue if you are going to do that, you better know what you're doing.
And
sure.
If you're going to get punched in the face by a SEAL,
can you believe it?
You should really know what you're doing.
I know. I really started kind of putting that whole thing together the other day, and I'm like, what am I doing? What is...
How old is this SEAL? Like 28?
No, he's not 40.
You're in so much trouble.
I know.
Can I have your Jeep?
I told him, I was like, SEAL Schmeal, I'm taking you down.
Can I have your Jeep?
No.
Because you'll never walk again.
So I'm looking forward to the Schwartz statue, though, at the front of the art museum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool. Me too. In your, what'd you call that thing?
The singlet or whatever. What do you guys wear?
Singlet.
Are you going to wear that when you punch him? because that's the only way you're going to get away with it.
If I wear that, he'll definitely want to punch me.
That's what I said. The only way you're going to hit him is if you wear that.
It'll be fun.
Make sure it's got American flag on it.
Can somebody have a little bit of faith in me here? A little bit.
I have faith in you.
Thank you, Jackson. Nice job.
Jackson, you need to go and you need to be the towel boy. You need to have it, make sure his head doesn't sweat when he's standing out there.
That'd be awesome.
Carry the bucket of water. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yep.
You could. I'll tell you what. You could ride the bike, and I'll jog in front of the bike, pulling the bike. Like in that one Rocky.
Yeah.
You just sit there with a megaphone, yelling faster. You like that idea?
Yes. I mean, it would be good leg strength.
I totally agree. All right, folks. Hey, don't touch that dial. Subscribe to our show on Apple Podcast, Google, Spotify, YouTube, whatever your favorite flavor is. And please support all our great sponsors: San Diego County Gun Owners, U.S. Law Shield, Dillon Law Group, PRMI Mortgage, 365 Glacier Famous, Scott Vincent at Coldwell Banker, Royal Realty, and National Concealed Carry. Thanks to Joe Dramisi, Michael Schwartz, Sam the Gunman, and Brendan and Joe in the box on FM 96, AM 1170.
The Answer.